This is The Cyclist, the podcast that finally talks about your reproductive health the way your group chat does. No awkward silence, no sugarcoating, just the real, messy, holy shit, why did nobody tell me this convos about your body. I'm Jess Quinn.
And I'm Catherine Douglas. We've been where you are, confused, dismissed, and left figuring it all out on our own. So, we're gathering the information we wish we had. We are The Cyclist.
Your cycle decoded. Welcome back to the Cyclist Period Pain miniseries, and unfortunately this is our last episode, but this whole miniseries has been so special. I cannot believe how much we've learned. Being in all of the recordings and hearing from all of these people changed the way that I view my body and period pain, so I hope it's been so beneficial for you too. Please don't forget to slide into our DMs, comment on the episodes that you love, and let us know what's really resonating with you, because we always like to hear from our community. In today's episode, we have Ella Cunningham. She is the founder of Els Lovers, a business she built out of something that genuinely helped her through some of her hardest days, which is heat packs. And if that tells you anything about Ella, it's that she is someone who takes what she's been through and finds a way to turn it into something that helps other women too. In this episode, Ella takes us right back to the beginning, her very first period, and walks us through what pain has looked like for her across her life, how it has shown up, how she's managed it, and the road to eventually lead her to an endometriosis diagnosis and surgery. It's raw, it's real, and it is the kind of conversation that makes you feel genuinely less alone. If you haven't already, we really recommend going back and listening to all the other episodes in the series alongside this one. The expert voices and Ella's lived experience together paint a picture that we think is really powerful. And if you've enjoyed the series, please take 2 seconds to follow us wherever you're listening and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more women who need these conversations. Okay, let's get into it.
This series is brought to you by Period Comfort, a product of our sister brand Cadence. When Jess and I started Cadence, one of the first things we wanted to solve was period pain. Not just because of our own struggles, but because we saw so many women around us struggling too. We created a dual product, including Period Prep, which you take in the lead up to your period to help decrease inflammation and over time, hopefully reduce the pain before it even begins. And then Period Peace, a natural support for when the pain does show up. Together they work with your cycle rather than just reacting to it. You can find Period Comfort on our website, cadencewellbeing.com.
Hello Ella, welcome to The Cyclist.
Hi Jess, thank you for having me here.
We were just talking about how you've listened to every Cyclist episode so far. You're like our number one fan.
Yes, I genuinely am so obsessed with this podcast, and it's really, really special to be able to be on the podcast.
I always wanted to have you on. We'll get into context soon around how we know each other, the work we've done. If you're watching from home, you might see, or on YouTube, you might see that we're sitting here with our Els Lovers wheat packs on. Wheat packs? What do you call them?
I call them heat packs.
Heat packs. Oh yeah, because they're not technically wheat,
because
right?
they're not technically wheat, yeah.
Oh, I'm so used to saying wheat pack. Good point.
I know. I had to change that terminology in my head as well. But yeah, so I've called them heat packs.
Heat packs. So we will get into all of Ella's story, but we really wanted to get Ella on because you have an incredible story with your experience around period pain and everything you've been through. And this is part of our period pain mini-series. And we really wanted to have a real story element in there, but also the opportunity for me to get to talk to you about Els Lovers, which we've both just been yapping about how cool it is. So I love that. Let's get started with a question, which is, what have you demystified about period pain?
I love this question in every podcast episode. It's always so interesting to hear what people have demystified. What have I demystified about period pain? So many things, but the main thing is that it's not normal. I genuinely thought that it was normal for such a long time. And for me, heat relief makes such a big difference. And I didn't really realize that when I was a lot younger. It took me quite a long time to really realize how much of an impact it makes for me. So that is something that I really have demystified about period pain, is what a difference heat relief makes.
I can actually relate to that. I feel like it's the first thing that I crave when I start to get period pain is heat relief. I can definitely agree with that. Yeah. Can we take it right back to the beginning, whenever this was, when you first got your first period? What was your first period experience like for you, and how did your pain journey evolve? Like, did it come in straight away, or was it something that evolved over time?
My very first period was about 3 days before my 14th birthday.
Wow.
So I was very eager to get my period, as a lot of people are when they're that age and all of your friends have had their period since they were 12 and you're like, am I broken? Is everything fine? And my period came and hit me like a ton of bricks. I was really tiny. I was really short for quite a long time. And I was at a musical theatre rehearsal camp and I woke up with my period and I could hardly stand up.
Wow.
I was in agonizing pain and trying to sing and dance rehearsal while experiencing your first period and being in agonizing pain when you actually like keeled over. I just remember having to try to brace myself against the chairs at the back of the room because standing up was so physically hard just from the very beginning. My very first day of my very first period was just crippling pain.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where did your mind go? Like, was that something because of the way you were brought up or the people you were around that you were like, oh yeah, this is what I expected it was going to be? Or was that quite shocking for you? Like what was your thoughts around period pain at that point?
My mum had horrible, horrible periods. She was always in a lot of pain and had very heavy, very painful periods. So I'd kind of expected that that would probably be the case for me, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. Especially that very first period was, it's cemented in my brain with how horrible it was. Luckily, my friend had like heavy pads with her because I had nothing with me. I didn't expect that it was coming and it was so heavy from the very first day as well.
Wow.
So it was incredibly painful and incredibly heavy.
Wow.
So it really caught me off guard and wiped me out.
When I think about periods and like we talk about people's first periods a lot on this podcast, I always find it so like I was the same. I didn't get my period, I think, until around 14.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, it's so late. But now I'm like, 14 is so young to deal with like that kind of pain, that kind of bleeding, that kind of like confronting thing to just go through, like knowing that that's coming again in a month, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a lot to go through at a really young age. How did it evolve over time? Were your periods consistently bad in terms of pain and flow, or did it become manageable at times, or did it get progressively worse?
The first one was really memorably horrible, and I had consistently very, very heavy periods until honestly very recently.
Wow.
They would last for about 8 days as well and would be like heavy for 6 of them.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't even make it to morning tea time at school before like needing to change super tampons kind of thing. I remember my friends in high school being like, whoa, like your period's really, really heavy. Like I don't have to change mine that often at all. Or, and we would talk about different pad brands and absorbencies and think that maybe that was why, because we were using different brands. But then when we would use the same brands, they would be like, whoa, this is a lot. And I was like, I know my mum has really heavy periods. It's just how it is for me, I guess. And I didn't really know that there actually was something else going on. And I remember it always being painful. I remember my mum on her period, she would be like in the afternoons when I'd get home from school, I'd be heating her up a wheat bag and she'd be laying on the couch. And then when I would have my period, she would heat up wheat bags for me and bring them to me on the couch. And then the same with my sister when she got her period as well.
Wow.
So it was consistently painful and consistently heavy for a very long time. It was when I was about 19 that I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. Something has to change. And I started trying to go on birth control to reduce the heaviness of my periods because I was extremely low in iron. I'd had an iron infusion and nothing was really working for me. But then the birth control pills didn't work for me. I would just bleed consistently through them.
Really?
Yeah. My body just didn't like the synthetic hormones. So
Did it help you from a pain perspective?
Did it help me from a pain perspective? I tried quite a few different ones and I didn't really try them for too long because I was just consistently bleeding for like a month or 2 months. And then I'd go, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm stopping taking this one. So I didn't really take them for much more than probably 4 months was probably the longest that I was taking one, because I was going on a uni trip to India and for 6 weeks. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot have my period in India when it's this heavy, and I'm going to be in rural India and I have no idea what the bathroom situations are going to be like and just no idea how I was going to manage it. So that was the longest stint on birth control pills that I did to try to get myself through that. And it worked to stop my bleeding for a little bit, which was good. But for me, my periods didn't change until after my endo surgery. I got the Mirena and had that for about 1.5 years. And that was the worst 1.5 years of pain in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
But then after getting the Mirena removed, my heaviness has drastically changed and my periods have become a lot shorter and lighter.
Oh, wow.
So far, yeah.
That's amazing. Taking it back, because you mentioned endometriosis. So you went on the pill that obviously wasn't working for you.
Yeah.
And then how did that evolve towards a diagnosis to endometriosis? Is endometriosis something that you thought you had? Had you never heard of it before? Like for me, I'd never heard of it until I was in the clinic talking about getting surgery. It was all really quick. Is that something you'd heard about?
Yes. So I hadn't heard of endometriosis until I was seeing a nutritionist to try to figure out what was happening in my body, try to figure out how to balance all of my low iron, low B12, my anxiety, my heavy, painful periods, and my like IBS-like symptoms as well. I had so many different things going on in my body, and I was trying to figure out what was happening. And I started seeing Chantal, and she was the first person who mentioned endometriosis to me.
What's Chantal's last name?
Cuthers?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I don't know
thought
how
it
to
might
pronounce
be.
her last name.
She's a really
I
good
don't
friend of
wanna-
mine. And she was
Yes.
one of the first people that mentioned endometriosis to me as well. She's incredible.
She's
She's incredible at what
amazing.
she does.
She is amazing.
Oh,
She'd
wow.
said to me, because I was recommended by my psychologist to see her.
Oh, wow.
And then when I was looking on Chantal's website for the first time, I saw all of the symptoms that I was experiencing being put together in one place, which was crazy. I was like, wow, maybe everything might be connected, or maybe this is where I'm going to start figuring out what's happening in my body. And she was so amazing and encouraging and supportive. And she'd said to me, I think you have endo and we are going to get some answers for you. And yep, she wrote a letter to my GP. My GP was like, no, I don't really think you have endo. I don't really think so. And I was like, no, I need this referral. I'm going to see a gynecologist. I need some answers. Wow. And she was like, okay, I can refer you through, but see how you go. I now have a new GP. Chantal was like, Ella, you need a GP who's going to advocate for you and listen to you. You cannot have a bad GP who dismisses you like that. So I now have a new GP who I love and who's amazing.
Oh, yay. I'm also like, what other symptoms were they looking for? Because I feel like you tick all the boxes.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Had you gone to the doctors many times before that for your period pain? Had you been met with dismissal, or how did you navigate that in the healthcare system?
I hadn't really talked about my period pain with my GP before. I was mostly talking about struggling with energy levels, something that I just constantly was exhausted. And my B12 was low, my iron was low, and I was just constantly told it was because I was plant-based and that I just was just going to have to deal with it, take some supplements, which the supplements they were giving me weren't right for my body anyway. And my ferritin was at like 23, and you're anemic if your ferritin is 20. Wow. So I was really low. And because I was technically in the normal range, I was just dismissed. And so doctors just assumed that my low iron was because I didn't eat meat. But it was because my periods were so horrifically heavy, and I didn't really get asked many questions about them, about my period. I didn't really mention it to GPs because my mum's periods were like that. She'd never been able to get them to be better or do anything, so I just didn't really think there was anything that could be done until I went and saw my first gynaecologist before my proper referral through my GP. I went to family planning because I didn't know what else to do. You're kind of trying to figure things out, and I was talking about wanting to try a different birth control pill and talk about how I was experiencing pain during sex and how my periods were so horrible and I needed some help. And I had the worst experience ever. She genuinely told me heavy periods were an opinion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, being told that at 19 was crazy. She was like, heavy is different for everyone. And that just really didn't sit right with me. So I was really deflated and really defeated after talking to this gynecologist who just told me to take ibuprofen for the week before my period to help my pain.
It's so hard when you have a gut feeling that something's wrong and you know that something's wrong, especially something like heavy periods. It's definitely not an opinion.
It's definitely not.
And then being met with these kind of comments, but you also don't really know any differently to push in a different way is such a hard thing. Like learning to advocate for yourself in the healthcare system is a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
How did you, so you then obviously had endometriosis surgery. How did that go for you?
For me, I had to actually push for it with the gynecologist that I did end up seeing. She was like, oh, you probably have endo, but nothing really we can do about it. Don't really know. And I was like, girl, I need answers. I have been waiting for so long trying to figure this out. I need answers. I want to do the surgery so that I know if I do have endo, or if it's not, then I can keep investigating to figure it out. And she was like, okay, we can do the surgery. And I'm so grateful that I have health insurance because that made such a big difference for me, being able to actually get the surgery and being able to get it really quickly. I feel so privileged and lucky that that's something that my parents decided they would do for us when we were kids, and I'm so grateful for that. So I was able to get my endometriosis surgery, and she did find endo, and she said I have mild stage 1. And I really loved on the podcast when Margot from Two Raw Sisters talked about how when you find out that you have stage 1 endo, you feel like such a wimp when you're like, oh, I'm struggling with all of these symptoms, and people have stage 4 endo, like, you know, and I only have stage 1. I really loved when she talked about that. It made me feel so seen and so understood.
I loved having that conversation because I think it's something that's so important, and we spoke to a gynecologist that we had on as well, and I've heard from a few people that the stages of endometriosis don't match necessarily the levels of pain or symptoms that you experience. Like she was saying that someone with stage 4 endometriosis might have no idea that they even have it, and someone with stage 1 could have a lot worse pain. And I think that's so validating for people, because when you've spent so long being gaslit or gaslighting yourself or second guessing yourself and wondering if it's normal and you're just being dramatic, to then get a diagnosis that's like, well, stage 1, you know, it feel like, because of the stages, it makes you feel a wimp, as you say.
Yeah.
But it's really helpful, I think, to have these conversations and realize that the stages don't equal the level of symptoms that you have, because there's nothing worse than finally making the decision to have these surgeries, getting a diagnosis, or some people go through that surgery and don't get a diagnosis, right? They have to then keep searching for answers. And yeah, I'm really glad that we can have open chats about that, because it's a lot.
Yeah. And I had a marina placed during my surgery. I was like, okay, I've tried 4 different types of birth control pills. If I'm going to try the marina, this is the perfect time because I'm under anesthetic, so I can get it inserted while I'm completely out, which was good to try, but it wreaked havoc on my body. After surgery, I was in more pain than I was before. And I've heard quite a few other people talking about they've had the same experience, that after surgery, things got worse for them. And I think it was because I had the Mirena and my body did not like the Mirena. But it was defeating again, like, okay, I've just had surgery and I've just been diagnosed with endo and now things are worse for me. It should be better, but it was worse. And then my gynaecologist kept gaslighting me that my Mirena would start sitting into my body and that it would start working soon. My body would get used to it. But after a year of me saying to her, my pain is horrific, I am having to like breathe through the cramps, like it's horrific, I'm crying on the couch, like I can't function, and her telling me just to give the Mirena some more time, I decided that I needed to trust my body and get it removed. And that's when things have started to finally get better for me.
It's so interesting, and I think one of the hardest things about all of this is there's people out there who rave about the Mirena and have really helped them on their endometriosis journey, and then there's other people who I've heard who have stories like yours, and unfortunately it's a matter of trying these things and putting yourself through that and then not knowing how long to try these things for.
Yeah.
Because also imagine if it had worked, like that's amazing.
Exactly.
I find that personally very anxiety-inducing and overwhelming to just like deal with this constant, like, is it me? Is it this? Is it that? Is it because I had the surgery? Like what, you know? I find that a lot to navigate. But yeah, it is unfortunately trial and error. And I think so many of us spend so many years of our lives trying things, and it is so consuming. Like I look back on my life and I'm like, oh my gosh. And the way that just feeds so much other like stress and confusion is it all just feeds into each other. So I can totally relate to that. But it's really interesting that you feel a lot better now that you've had the Mirena out, which probably shows that the endometriosis surgery helped you.
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Yeah, and you haven't had to have any more surgeries yet?
No, that was 2 years ago that I had my endo surgery, February 2024. So I haven't had any more surgery since then. She didn't find too many lesions when she was doing the removal. So yeah, I'm hoping that I don't have to have more surgery because things have improved for me since having the Mirena removed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you found anything else in your journey, pre-surgery, post-surgery, that has really made a difference for you, apart from heat, in your, like, I know we all try so many things, but has anything made a difference for you?
Honestly, the Cadence Grateful Guts.
This is not an ad, right?
This is not an ad. This does sound like it's getting plugged in there, but it is not, because that is genuinely something that has made a huge difference for me.
Wow.
It has changed so much. As somebody who like was chronically constipated my entire life, just being able to have something that helps and actually has made such a difference for me with general pain and everything, having my gut be a lot calmer and having everything move through as it should has made such a difference. I have found that improving my gut health has made a really big difference on my cycles, because I'm not experiencing the constipation pain as well as like endometriosis and period pain. So being able to remove one of those things out has made a huge difference on the other things.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And personally, I can relate to that so much, because you and I have very similar bodily symptoms, and I also have chronic constipation. And whenever I relieve that, usually with the help of Grateful Guts, I find my pain is so much better, which I'm always like, is this in my head? But it makes sense, right? Like if you especially have like an angry uterus, like a lot of us with endo do, and then you're adding further pressure in by having constipation, basically, like it's just makes for a really angry environment. So I can relate to that so much, and I'm so happy to hear that. And this is absolutely not an ad.
This is not.
You could have said anything you wanted to there. But
I know. I am like, this Grateful Guts is something that I will be purchasing for my foreseeable future. It's made such a difference, and I think it's really improved my cycles as well, because my body is actually able to like release the excess estrogen, because a lot of it comes out through your gut and through your bowel movements. So I think that's made a huge difference for my cycles as well, is my body starting to actually clear excess estrogen and actually like cycle like it's supposed to.
I can relate to that so much, and I'm so happy that that's helped you.
It really
Have you found any treatments? Like, did you try acupuncture? Any of those kind of things? Have you explored those paths?
I am actually currently just starting acupuncture.
Oh,
I have a
wow.
huge fear of needles, so it's taken me a really long time to get the courage to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was coming down with my first migraine that actually debilitated me, that I was like, okay, it's time. I need to add some new things in. So I have started getting acupuncture with Rachel Wilson.
Oh, cool.
I love
Oh my gosh.
Rachel.
We have all the same people in our lives.
We do. My sweet friend Nayo, it's her mum. So I was like,
really?
yes.
Oh my gosh, I've heard her talk about her daughter so much.
Yes,
That's so funny.
yes, I love Nayo. And I was like, okay, if I'm terrified of needles and if I'm going to do acupuncture, it's got to be with Rachel. She's amazing. And then I'm like, I trust her. I feel safe with her. And it was amazing. I have had acupuncture with her twice now.
Oh, cool.
And I'm feeling really good about it.
Cool.
She's made it such a stress-free
she's
thing for me.
got the best energy. Both
She
Rachel
does.
and Chantel that you've mentioned are on our practitioner directory for the cyclist. So if anyone's listening and is like, how do I contact these people? Jump on the cyclist, go to our resources practitioner directory, and you'll find both of them on there. So if you're looking for their contact details, because they are people that on our practitioner directory, which is really exciting.
I also love the practitioner directory.
Oh,
I
yay.
keep looking on there, and everyone that I have had great experiences with is on their list.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
I
so
love
when
that.
looking for new people, I always go back to the list.
Oh my gosh, I love that. We're in the midst at the moment of really putting a lot of effort. Cadence has taken away a lot of our time, and so we've now like just refocusing with the cyclist now that the podcast is back and everything, and we're really actively searching for people. So we're going to do some call outs for more people. We even spoke about having like a review thing on there, so people like you can jump on and be like, oh yeah, I liked her too, add her a 5-star, so then other people can be like, oh cool, she like, you know, you can see the community kind of backing them, which we thought would be really cool. So if anyone likes that idea, put it in the comments below. And if anyone has any practitioners they like, also put that in the comments, because it just helps us build it so much when it's like, that's what we want, is like it to come from the community, because it's all about word of mouth. I have so many other questions I want to jump into, which I will, but I first wanted to chat about Els Lovers, because we have spoken about heat being an amazing relief for period pain and for me just pain in general, and we're both sitting here with our wheat packs on right now, which I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do an interview without a wheat pack.
Honestly,
sorry,
yes,
it's amazing.
I love them.
I had mine on all day yesterday, purely from like a comfort perspective, and we were also saying what's so nice about them is they're quite weighted, so they also, like, I also suffer from anxiety, they act as like a weighted blanket kind of feeling, which is so nice. When did you start Els Lovers? I mean, I'm going to ask the question, what inspired you to start Els Lovers, but I'm very aware of what it might be, and how has it evolved?
So I started Els Lovers about a year ago, actually.
Was it only a year ago?
It was only a year ago.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to leave my full-time job in March 2025, the very end of March. So pretty much exactly a year ago.
Wow.
Because I was just, my pain was so unpredictable, and I was like having more days that were me having to wear a heat pack at work and try to sit down the whole time than not. And so I started Els Lovers about a year ago.
Oh my gosh.
But it kind of actually started even a little bit before that. So 2024 February, I had my endo surgery, and recovery was really hard. It was so much harder than I expected. Like my gynaecologist said, yeah, maybe like 2 weeks and then you'll be good to go to work. Absolutely not. And I was starting my first full-time job out of uni and trying to negotiate start dates. And I was like, guys, I'm like, I can't actually even get out of the house and like come here for a meeting without feeling like so fatigued. And it was rough, but we got through it. And I ended up making my first heat pack for myself when I was scouring the internet trying to find something that would meet my needs. You know, I was lying at home with 2 traditional wheat bags on my front, then my back would start cramping, so then I'd have to swap one to the back, and then both to the back, and then both to the front. And I was trying to find something that would be wide enough and long enough to wrap around and actually provide heat to the places I needed it to. And I couldn't find anything that was quite right for me. And my boyfriend said to me, Ella, you studied fashion design. you can make your own one. And I was like, oh yeah, why don't I do that? And so I did. I made my own heat pack for myself that was the right size to reach the areas I needed. Then a month after that, one of my friends was having their first endo surgery. So I made them a heat pack, dropped it off to their house for supporting with recovery. And they started posting about it on their story. And I started having people message me being like, I am in desperate need for this. And I ran into my friend Anya one day when I was out shopping and was telling her about it. And she was like, this is huge. This should be a business. And she's an amazing photographer, brand strategist. And she was like, I'm going to help you do this. This is going to be amazing. We're going to have a meeting next week and make a plan.
Oh my gosh, cool.
And we did.
I love that.
And we did. So then that was about the end of 2024. So then by March, when I was unable to be working full-time anymore, I was ready to be working on the business full-time, getting my heat pack samples made, getting the photo shoot planned, and getting the business started.
So cool. I love business stories that evolve like that. Like, make one for yourself, make one for a friend. Like, it's just so cool, and then come from such a great purpose. And I can relate as well to that because I ended up buying, just before my endo surgery, it wasn't from Timo because Timo wasn't around there, but like your likes of a Timo, this like electric wheat bag, not a wheat bag, but this electric thing. And like it got to the point where it started to smell like, I'm pretty sure that like fumey, like I'm pretty sure it was like really bad to have that plugged into my power socket. And so yeah, I totally feel your need. It's one of those things that seems so obvious. Like it's like, surely I'm going to find one of these. And then when you don't, it's like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's all aligned for you. Very cool. What do you wish someone had told you earlier about your body or about navigating the healthcare system that you think would have helped you a lot?
I think tuning in to you and into your body and what feels right for you, stick to it. Like if something isn't sitting right with you, then it's probably not right for you. You know, the best decision that I made for myself was getting my IUD removed because that's what felt right for me. And that's something that I really felt like was the right decision, and it was the right decision. So I think just trusting yourself, trusting that you know what is happening in your body and what's not happening is something that I really wish I'd believed in myself more with trusting myself.
Like that, that's so important. Out of interest, and I know a lot of people will be interested, what does a good cycle look like to you now? Like,
oh my gosh.
You're like, that was a good period month. Like, what does that feel like?
For a while, that was if I was able to get through without crying in a ball. But what does it look like now? It's so hard because I'm still trying to turn my cycle from being crazy to trying to make it more manageable. I'm aiming for a cycle where my period is sitting at more like 5 days and is not super heavy. So it's like I'm just aiming for a much more normal period. But then what is normal, you know? It's so hard because I
know what you mean.
Because I'm still trying to get there.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get there with my body. I still don't know what it looks like for me yet. Because I don't know what my body's capable of with that yet.
I think that's such an honest answer because...
that's my answer is I actually don't know yet.
Which I think is so important because I think, and I hope for a lot of people, endosurgery is like this magic fix, but then for some people, and I think they'll be really validating for others to hear, is that you're still trying to figure that out because I think these chronic health issues, that's why they're chronic, right? They're just, they feel never ending a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Speaking of never ending, because I realised that sentence sounded so hopeless and I do want to leave people with hope. What has given you the most hope throughout all of this? Apart from Grateful Gods.
Exactly. Oh, Grateful Gods, honestly. The amount of people I've recommended it to is insane.
You're like our number one customer. It's so good.
Honestly, I am. I love all of the Cadence products, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. I think the community that I have found and created with Els Lovers, the community of people, and also like with Cadence and the cyclist, the community is so special.
I agree.
And I keep thinking that everything that I've gone through and all of the struggles to get where I am now, I've created heat packs that people love and that actually have helped people with their pain. It's so hard to find things that help manage your pain, and to be able to have helped people manage their pain is so special.
It's the coolest feeling in the world.
It's the coolest feeling in the world. Whenever people message me and they're like, your heat packs are so amazing. I have finally found something that is providing me some level of relief. It's so special to be able to help people like that.
I can agree
So
much wholeheartedly. And I so agree with you on the community thing. It's really interesting. I was like, as we're talking, I'm like, because this is like my life's work is doing the cyclist and Cadence. And I'm like, obviously also of like my mindset of like, oh, we really want to grow the podcast and reach it to more women and like have people like you, like, but we've got to reach them of like people who are really finding it helpful. And then I'm like, do people want to talk about periods all day? Like, I think we're so used to being conditioned to like, oh, it's just a period, or like, oh, it's just women's health, you know? But I'm like, it's so important for us to talk about this stuff. Like the fact that you were going through that, and so many of people listening right now are going through this kind of pain every month, or heavy bleeding, or like, and just having to turn up to work, or having to, like, you had to leave your job. Like that is a massive deal.
I was 21 as well.
Wow.
I only got to work full-time in the fashion industry for pretty much exactly 1 year.
Like that's a lot for something that is so dismissed and not made to be important. And my husband's learned a lot just from the work that I've been doing, and he's even like, oh my God, I'm sitting in like a meeting room and there's people probably like wanting to be killed over in pain, or you know, we did the period pain simulator with him, and he's like, the fact that people are sitting like this in meeting rooms that I'm friends with and I have no idea that they're going through it, like it just reminds me how important all of this is. So we just like, I don't know, I love these conversations. It makes me want to just keep going.
And I mean, I've become such an oversharer in the last little while as well, because the amount of people that I talk to about things that I've gone through, and then they go, oh my gosh, I'm going through that too. Or, oh, I have experienced that as well. And it makes such a big difference. It makes such a big difference, because people aren't able to talk about it, or don't think they're able to talk about it. So if all we do is talk about it, it helps others learn, and it helps others have the courage to talk about it.
I completely agree, and that's literally our purpose for the cyclist. But I was actually thinking about that when you were speaking about when you got your first period and your friends and you were trying different brands and all that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't really have those conversations with my friends. I'm much older than you are, but I think your generation and the younger generations coming through are getting more confident to like even using the word period. Like, I had boyfriends where I wouldn't even say I'm on my period. Like, it was just, and like at school we'd like hide our tampon up our sleeve and like run to the bathroom.
We
and,
did
like,
that too.
Okay, that's still a thing. But you know, it's like, it's just so not commonly spoken about. And I think the more we speak about it, like even the more open I've become with my sisters as we've gotten older, it's like you start to realize what is normal and what's not normal. You start to be able to put yourself on a scale. You also start to be able to be like, oh, this product's helpful for me. Oh, I found this heat pack. You know, it's like, then we can all come together and help each other, because how the hell are you supposed to know if you have endometriosis if no one's talking about endometriosis? How the hell are you supposed to know if you've got bad period pain if no one's speaking about period pain? And everyone's just kind of suffering in silence. So I think it's so important, obviously on a bigger scale, hopefully that the cyclist becomes one day, but also just in our own communities and friendships and families. Like, it's so important for us to speak about our experiences, because it shouldn't be taboo.
It really shouldn't.
I needed a breath after that. That felt like the biggest rampage I've ever had on the podcast. But
it was beautiful.
Thank you. I want to wrap with a question. I don't want to wrap, but I would like to wrap with a question. If there is a young woman listening right now that recognizes herself in your story, what would you say to them?
Oh, I just want to give them a big hug. I just want to give you a big hug. It's really hard. It's really hard, but keep trying. Keep trying, because you will find things. Might take some time, but you will find things that help you. Everyone's different, but keep trying. Talk to your friends about it. Talk to different medical professionals about it. Things will get better. And you can DM me on Els Lovers, or reach out, because that's the way we find things. You know, is asking other people who've gone through it. Yeah.
I love that. That's so validating for people. Ella, thank you so much for coming on The Cyclist.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thanks for listening to The Cyclist.
To join the community, follow us at We Are The Cyclist.
Your cycle decoded.